Hey guys, so earlier I went and saw a double feature at the theaters. I know this is Wednesday night going on Thursday morning when I'm doing this. As I've said before, I've been very, very busy and I haven't been able to go to theater as much as I usually do. And also, this is around the time of year. I just have, like, I have to kind of force myself to go to the movie theaters because usually there's a lot of crap that comes out around this time of year. Although I've been seeing some pretty decent movies the last couple of weeks, um, it just nothing that stood out. Like I have to go see that right now. Like one of those movies. It's been the last few weeks. It's been like that. Even though this past week, there was one movie I was really looking forward to. I just I just had to kind of lull myself to go to the theater finally. So I did. First movie I saw was Hail Caesar, the new Coen Brothers movie, the movie I was looking forward to the most this past weekend. Um, I love the Coen Brothers. I don't think I have to say much of who they are. I think most people probably watching this know who the Coen Brothers are. The guys who made Fargo, No Country for Old Men, True Grit. Uh, they've made a lot of damn good movies over the years. I love their style of film. I love they write great films. They direct great films, and this from the trailers looked like another great uh, Coen Brothers movie. It looked like a really fun comedy from them because they make some really good comedies. When they make comedies, they're usually pretty good. Um, this looked like a pretty funny one from the trailers, uh, and it had a big all-star cast and everything. Like a lot of really good actors I really like. It just it was one of those movies I was sold on from from the first trailer the first time I got a trailer for this. I was gonna go see it opening day if I could. Um, this movie's been getting good reviews too, and for a movie that's come out in February, it's been getting really good reviews. So was like, all right, gotta check this out. And I know I might get some shit for this. And I want to say this first off. I did like this movie. I did, but also I kind of feel disappointed by it. I know I'm gonna get some shit for that. I to the point that I kind of only recommend seeing it as a rental and not in the theaters. Unless you're maybe even if you're a diehard Coen Brothers fan, I love the Coen Brothers, but I thought this was not their best film. There's a lot of things I love about this movie, and trust me, I do. There is a lot of good stuff about this movie. The casting in this movie is fantastic. Uh, Everybody, I swear, in this film, I could believe was taken right out of the 50s. Like I swear, Josh Brolin was born in the wrong decade. Like he is a guy who is very believable as someone who could be in the 50s. He's very good in this role as Eddie Mannix, apparently who was a real producer. And he's very very good in this film. Between this and Gangster Squad, he does a lot of these period movies that he fits very well in. Even though this is a better movie than this is a better movie than Gangster Squad. I'll give it that. um, Also, you got like Scarlett Johansson, who I could believe as a actress from that decade. She had the body, everything else. She looked like somebody who could have come from that decade. I also really liked. I don't know who this guy's name is. The one I thought breakout performance in this movie was the guy who played cowboy actor. He had the best parts of this whole movie. I thought the funniest parts of this whole movie were with him, especially when he's with my favorite scene in the whole movie is where he's with Ray Fiennes, who's the director of like this Broadway play turned into a movie. I forget what it's called, but uh, Josh Brolin's character makes him cast uh, this guy who's known for westerns and is doing all these cowboy movies in like the lead role of his film, and this guy cannot act, and like it results in one of the funniest scenes in the whole movie where he's having him try to say a sentence and he cannot, for whatever reason, say it right. And the end result of what he ends up saying, they have him saying, is pretty goddamn funny. I got a few chuckles there. What else? This movie is like one giant love letter to old school cinema. It is. A lot of this movie was shot using a lot of different different styles from the 50s, the movies from the 50s and the 60s and the 40s. There's a lot of like lighting that is similar to movies from the 50s or the 40s. There's a lot of different camera angles that are same from you would see out of a 50s movie. Even the scenes where you're seeing like them filming, there are scenes where you're watching like the filming of a movie that they're doing, like the Hail Caesar or Scarlett Johansson's aquatic mermaid thing that was going on, or to the cowboy scenes. They all looked like real movies, like that were made from the 50s, even though they looked a lot cleaner. And it was the attention to detail in a lot of those scenes were freaking amazing. It's a love letter. This is like the Coen Brothers love letter to that style of cinema, and it was really good. Those scenes were really good. I could see people going having a problem with that, like, because they keep doing that throughout the whole movie, and it kind of distracts from the movie and just comes out of nowhere when they would show scenes from like movies that they're shooting. It does kind of like happen very intermittently, and it kind of takes away from the movie. I kind of felt at parts, but I still enjoyed them. I thought they were really cool, really well done. Like I said, this is a movie that you could tell a lot of love went into this. It absolutely did. And Coen's, they know how to direct, they know how to write, everything else. Where I have a problem with this movie, and it's very simple why I didn't like this movie as much as some people might have, and it's very, very simple. I promise you that. The main reason I didn't like this movie is that, honestly, this movie wasn't that really funny. It wasn't. I'm sorry. It's supposed to be a comedy, but I barely laughed in this thing, and that's not a good thing. I usually laugh at a Coen Brothers film. I usually have a good time. I love their weird sense of humor that they have, in their comedies. This, I was pretty quiet for most of it, and I wasn't the only one. I was a few other people in the theater. There was a few chuckles here and there, but that was about it. It was very quiet in that movie theater for a comedy. That's not a good sign. I kind of agree with some of the people. I'm like, this is not that funny. Maybe I was not in the right mood. I don't know. I don't even think that's it. Out of their comedies, this is probably one of their weakest. I hate saying that about a Coen Brothers movie. I do. Every director has one film or here or there that's not as good as the others. I never watched all of Lady Killers, but I've always heard that's one of their worst films ever. I remember seeing bits of it, remember it being okay. I just never got around to watching the whole thing. But, yeah, it's as simple as that. When a movie doesn't really make you laugh and you don't really find it that funny and it's supposed to be a comedy, that's not very good, like I said. That's where I kind of have to give it a little bit of a downgrade, even though a lot of there are a lot of positives about this movie. There are, and I really do think there are a lot of positives about this movie. Like I said, the casting, the acting, everything was great. But as a comedy, it didn't work. I just thought it didn't work. And it 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 is very predictable who even though I was like, when I first saw the movie, I was interested in who were the people that kidnapped George Clooney, but pretty much if you know the era this movie's taking place in, you could probably fucking guess who took them. It's pretty fucking obvious. It's when they're being called the future, I think it should be pretty obvious if you know anything about film history or anything about history around that time in 1951. You should know. I don't know. There's not much else to talk about this movie. Like I said, I really wanted to love this movie. I did. I wanted to say, go see this right now. You know, I still say there's a lot of great things that should be seen. Like, it's not a movie that you shouldn't like skip and avoid altogether. I just think it is just a rental, like I said, and that's about it. I know I might get some shit for that. Like I said, I like the Coens, I really do, and I want to give this more of a rave review. Trust me, the film critic in me wants to just rave about this movie, but I really can't. So, yeah, there's that. Like I said, I'd recommend a rental. As far as trailers go, I got... Oops, sorry, give me 1 second. As far as trailers go, Jesus Christ, my phone's driving me nuts. I got Neighbors 2 Sorority Rising. I liked the first Neighbors. It was alright. I didn't love it as much as some people did, but I thought it was a pretty decent comedy. I like Seth Rogen. I love Rose Byrne. I thought they were great. When I heard they were making a sequel to this, I was like, really? A sequel? Was there really any need for that? I was like, okay, I'm curious. What is the plot for this thing? Well, it's... Instead of it being a frat full of guys, it's a sorority full of girls that move in next door to them. And Zac Efron comes and helps them take down the sorority. Yep, that's your plot of the movie. It's basically the first one all over again, like most comedies. It's the same. They're using even the same jokes. Like, there's the airbag joke that was overdone to death. Okay, the airbag joke was funny the first time I saw it in the trailer, but after the 500th time I saw it in the commercials and the trailers for that thing, it wasn't funny anymore. So yeah, it's still not funny anymore. Like the commercials and the trailers for that movie pretty much ruined that joke. It was funny the first time you see it, but it's not funny anymore. Not to the point that I need to ever see it again. I don't know. Like, it's Chloe Grace Moretz is the leader of the sorority. That could be kind of funny. I like the opening scene where Chloe Grace Moretz is originally in a sorority led by Selena Gomez, and it's like this very perfect sorority that doesn't do any drugs or do anything bad. It's just like, fuck this shit. So she goes makes her own sorority. That's kind of funny, but yeah. I'll probably still see it. Like I said, I like Nicholas Stoller. He made one of my favorite comedies the last decade, which was Forgetting Sarah Marshall, which is one of the funniest movies in a long damn time. I got a trailer for Now You See Me 2. Another movie where I liked the first one. I don't really know if there's any need for a second one at all. They added Daniel Radcliffe as the villain. Weird. And, who is it? Damn it, what's her name? Lizzie Kaplan is replacing, damn it, that girl who's married to Borat. I forgot her damn name. I'm forgetting her name, but yeah, they're replacing her. Only reason I believe was because she was pregnant and she couldn't do it. So it was a legitimate reason. So, but again, I still don't know why they're making this, but whatever. And the last trailer I got was Sing Street, whatever the hell that is. It's from the director that made Once and Begin Again, two movies I never saw, but I know they were like these music-driven films, and I never really had interest in seeing them. But this movie has like music from Duran Duran, The Clash, Depeche. I think Depeche Mode and shit like a lot of '80s bands. It was like, all right, it's got some decent music probably in this film. That's probably one thing I'll take away from it. I probably won't get it in my theater, but whatever. Might have a great soundtrack. I was like, all right. So yeah, that's as far as trailers go. I'll be back in a few minutes with my other review.